Another group of 5 team that we're previewing today, Dawn. Finally, some Saturday games now. Number 12, Notre Dame against number 24, Navy. This game is at 12 p.m. Eastern Time on ABC in MetLife Stadium, too. We got a neutral site game for Notre Dame against Navy. The storylines know, okay, how legit are these military academies right now? Both Army and Navy have become legitimate college football playoff contenders. They're both undefeated through the first half of the season. First time since 1960 that both Navy and Army are ranked in the same AP poll, which is very, very cool. And while they've proven to be among Group of Five's elite, they've done really well against a good Group of 5 teams already this year. It's time to see how they stack up against a top 15 team like Notre Dame. And actually, both Army and Navy will be playing Notre Dame this year. Navy obviously doing it this week in MetLife Stadium. Army doing it a little bit later on the year in Yankee Stadium on November 23rd, one of the last weeks of the year. And really, so it's going to be interesting to see, okay, how legit are these military academies? And on the other side, too, Dawn, Notre Dame cannot afford another loss this year if it wants to make a college football playoff, because they lost Northern Illinois in week 2. They've done well since then. But their strength of schedule and the fact that they don't play in a conference, that could go against them if they're a 10-2 team at the end of the year. So I don't think a 10-2 Notre Dame probably won't get into the playoff, but an 11-1 Notre Dame will. So this is really a must-win game for Notre Dame as well.
I love that this is a huge game, don't you? It's just awesome. Get up. This is the big noon game here at Notre Dame Navy. It seems old school, but no, these are, again, Navy. I think they're legit. I think Navy and Army both are really good. I think Navy, their offense is really creative. I'll get into that. You know, it'll be a matter to me of if they can handle the physicality of Notre Dame, because we know especially offensively they can get really physical. They get behind this offensive line. They run the ball a lot. But I think this is a fascinating game, because especially if we did get into a scenario where one of these two teams did beat Notre Dame, I think we start having talks about if there could be 2 Group of 5 teams making the playoff.
Yeah, definitely. So, Dalton, you have the midshipman offense in this one. So what should we be looking out for when they have the ball?
Okay, so this is the part of the show where I'm supposed to tell you about their triple option offense that they've been running for 120 years, and it's the same thing over and over, and they're going to run the ball down the pipe, and Notre Dame's got to stop the triple option, play assignment football, and do all that, right? That's what I'm supposed to do here. That is not at all what I'm going to do here. I am actually going to talk about Navy throwing the football and how good they've been passing the ball this year. Look, you look at their offense, okay? Their head coach, Brian Newberry, came in last year, and he modernized this thing, okay? Since the start of last year, Max, they run 44% of their plays from the shotgun. When you look at this, it is not just line up under center and, double wing and run the same 3 triple option plays like it used to be. They've modernized this thing. Now, sometimes will they do that for stretches of games? Absolutely. That's their foundation. That's what they do. But there's a little more. It's like this hybrid kind of attack where it's a little bit of the academy stuff and a little bit kind of like they'll run some Kansas State power read stuff. And then there's a little bit of the Vanderbilt stuff that they've thrown in. And then they've added this passing game. And look, Blake Horvath is really good. This is the best throwing quarterback that I've seen at Navy in a while, maybe since Keenan Reynolds, maybe longer, because you talk about a guy, got a 92.9 rushing grade, which is spectacular. 78.3 passing grade is solid, especially for an academy quarterback. 10 passing touchdowns this year, Max. The school record is 13. Wow. He's only 7 games in. He's got 10 passing touchdowns. He's going to break the school record as long as nothing happens. And, of course, a 91.2 play-action passing grade, because that's going to be the foundation, right, coming off of all of their run concepts. But this is a lot more fun offense than it used to be, right, where it was just double wing and run the same 4 plays and occasionally a toss sweep and maybe throw it 3 times. They can legitimately sling the football around. And Blake Horvath, he's got a 50 to 55-yard arm. They can get vertical. They get creative. They run guys up the seam. They run throwbacks and elite concepts, getting out the backside. They run double passes, trick plays, reverses, all sorts of stuff. This is a fun offense to watch. And I think the 2 guys to know, obviously, are Horvath, the quarterback. And then I got to tell you about one of these wingbacks, number 22, Eli Heidenreich. Mm-hmm. He's a terrific athlete, and he just does everything for them. Max, he's got a 97 receiving grade this season. The only player with a higher one than that, which is crazy that someone has higher than that, is Harold Fannin Jr., who we've been talking about as being the Mackey Award winner and leading tight ends and everything. Heidenreich is this guy who, wingback, he's very often he's the pitch guy on the options, right? He can block, and he does a really good job of it. And then he's a really good receiver with real wheels. I'm telling you, like, you talk about this Navy team has more speed than we're used to from past years. It used to be, right, they get 6 yards at a time. Maybe they're running belly up the middle. No, they make explosive plays through the air. This is a two-dimensional threat, this offense, and Horvath and Heidenreich are the main two reasons for it. But don't get me wrong, they have a lot of options, and they come up with a lot of creative stuff, whether it's under center or in the gun, to get guys open downfield.
Yeah, absolutely. So obviously Navy running the triple option offense and run the ball a lot. Notre Dame also is a team that wants to run the ball a lot as well. So my matchup to watch is, okay, can Navy force Riley Leonard to beat them through the air? Because like I said, the bread and butter of Notre Dame's offense is their run game. Right now they're 7th in EPA per run, 10th in rushing grade, and 26th in run blocking grade in college football. And as a team, Notre Dame is 3rd in the country in terms of yards after contact per attempt, averaging 4.3 yards after contact per attempt, which is a stupid number. Jeremiah Love, so far this year, has the 2nd best forced miss tackle rate in the country at 45%. Riley Leonard, the quarterback, is 3rd in the Power 4 in rushing yards at 474 for his position. Very effective with his legs, like I said. He's not nearly as efficient with his arm. Right now, Riley Leonard is 99th in passing grade at 64.3, and he currently has more turnover-worthy plays than he does big-time throws. And really, it's not just his fault either, because right now Notre Dame is 93rd in the country in pass blocking grade and 64th in receiving grade. So Navy, get them behind on early downs and make Riley Leonard beat you. Their run defense, I will say, has been average this year. They're 67th in yards per carry allowed at 4.8. They're 61st in EPA per run allowed. If Navy wants a chance at upsetting Notre Dame, this has to turn into a game where Riley Leonard has to beat them through the air, because if you let Jeremiah Love and Riley Leonard and all the other backs they have run all over you, I don't think Navy's got much of a chance in this game. But if Riley Leonard has to beat you with his arm, that's the avenue for Navy to pull off the upset.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I think this is a dangerous game for Notre Dame because, again, Navy, this is a two-dimensional threat. This is not like every other year when they play Navy, and it's just, okay, line up, be more physical, especially on defense. I think this is a big challenge. But no, you're right. Notre Dame, they need to establish themselves as the more physical team early in this game. I think the first quarter and whoever scores first in this game is going to be big. If Notre Dame if they give Navy that window of hope early in the first 15 to 20 minutes, we're going to have a fist fight all the way to the end. I think this is a fantastic football game. And Notre Dame, you mentioned it with Love and Jadarian Price, too, has been really good. They need to establish that early like they've done in the last few weeks in these games, or they're going to have a real problem on their hands.
Absolutely. So, Dawn, who wins this game at MetLife Stadium? And honestly, Dawn, is this the biggest game at MetLife Stadium this year? With your Jets being that bad and the Giants being that bad?
Yeah, easy. Yeah, this will be the best football game played at MetLife this year. Yeah,
so
for sure.
Who wins the best football game played at MetLife Stadium this year?
I have Notre Dame 24-20, and I'm not sitting too comfortable with it. I think this Navy team is a real threat. If Notre Dame doesn't come out and get ahead and establish some sort of physical dominance early in the game. You mentioned those yards after contact, right? Make Navy take 4, 5, 6 guys to tackle you, right? You know Notre Dame's going to be the big team. These academy schools are traditionally smaller than the Power 5 schools. They got to be more physical early. They really need to not let Navy get into all the play action stuff and all the reverses and all the fun stuff they can get into in their offense, because there's a lot more depth to this offense the way they run it now than there has been in past years. I'll be honest, Navy played Air Force a couple weeks ago, and I know Air Force isn't great, but it's the rivalry thing where they always play tight. Yeah. But Navy in that game, for stretches of that game, they went exclusively into the shotgun and got into their new stuff, and Air Force had no answer. I mean, it's just a change up from what we usually see from them. And Notre Dame, they got to play with physicality, and they got to play with discipline on defense. And I think it does get even more challenging. You know, you have Ben Morrison out for the year, right? I mean, I know you wouldn't normally think, oh, what do you need corners for against Navy? I'm telling you right now, this team can throw the football. And if Notre Dame messes around and steps up too hard and bites up on some of the fakes, and it's very much the same to me, more so than the usual academy thing. We think about Vanderbilt and all the different run looks they throw at you, and then they throw it right over your head. I think it's a lot more similar to that than people think. This is a dangerous game. I've got Notre Dame winning, but I honestly don't feel that great about it.
I also have Notre Dame winning. I feel a little bit better than you. I have 31-21. I think both teams could have issues stopping the run in this game, because Notre Dame's run D has been vulnerable at times this year. But I think I have more faith in Notre Dame's defense to figure it out and pull it out down the stretch. than I do with Navy's right now. And like I said, Navy's run D is just average, and they're average playing Group of 5 competition. Now you're going against one of the best run games in college football. I think Notre Dame will out-physical Navy offensively and end up winning this game. I think the defense will figure it out as well. I got Notre Dame winning that one 31-21.